A very special guest that's going to be joining me. It's somebody that I have known, had the blessing of knowing now for quite a few years, and now he's officially a commit at Auburn. He's going to be one of the top transfer portal players in this entire transfer portal season, and that's Keyshawn Hall. Keyshawn, appreciate taking time to join me today, man.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Happy to be on here.
Absolutely. So you're officially committed now. I know you've already integrated yourself a little bit, going out there to San Antonio and being with the fans a little bit. But how does it feel to officially be a part of the Auburn family now?
It feels great, man. I feel accepted as soon as I got out there and as soon as I committed. All the fans show love and things like that. I can't wait to get going.
Now, this has been quite the journey for yourself, and I do want to get into Auburn stuff. We'll kind of wrap up with that in a little bit, but you've had quite the story. Because I said, I've known you now for 4 or 5 years, going all the way back to your high school days, and it's been a long road getting to the point where you're at now. Finally starting to get national respect, finally getting people to start to appreciate how special you are as a player. And so I want Auburn fans and the world as a whole to get to know you a little bit better. And so let's go back a little bit, though. We talked about growing up out there in Ohio, going through your high school journey. What ultimately got you in love with basketball to begin with, though?
What ultimately got me in love with basketball. So before I started playing basketball, I used to be a gamer. I used to play
Mm,
games a lot, um, like 2K, Call of Duty, Fortnite, things like
mhm.
that. Before I took basketball serious, and my brother, Royal, he told me to like come outside and start playing basketball and things like that. So he the first one who put a basketball in my hand and showed me the way and things like that.
So you talk about growing into basketball. Then when did you start officially saying, "Okay, this is what I want to pursue now"? Because I'm sure you started loving it a little bit, but when did you start saying, "This is something that I can make a career for. This could be like actually what I put at number one, number two priority in my life now."
Around like probably my eighth grade year. My eighth grade year, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to take this serious. I think I could become something. I was better than a lot of people that was like in Cleveland. So I was like, okay, I probably could be very good at this. Then I started taking it serious and then I took a break after my sophomore year. After my sophomore year, I gave up basketball for like a probably like 8 months to a year and started playing like video games.
Mm.
Again, I started getting back into video games and started playing Fortnite and things like that.
So
Yeah.
what got you
So
back into it then?
what got me back into it, man? My father used to tell me like, man, you only got a certain window. You
Mm,
know what I'm saying? You only got a certain window before your window closes. You know what I'm saying? So you
mhm,
have to take this stuff serious. You can't be gaming and things like that if you really want to pursue basketball. Because I thought I could do both, but it wasn't gonna help me because when I gave up basketball, that's when I gained like to 295 and almost 300 pounds and things like that.
mhm. And that's what I want to go into because we're to look at your overall body transformation. That's what's made it impressive. Obviously, you went from a guy that had potential to now becoming the player you are today.
Mhm.
What it kind of motivated you then? Because obviously, I think it was your UNLV. I know you still were cutting down quite a bit. By the time you're at George Mason, then you're kind of were more so your typical body you're at now. So, what exactly kind of pushed you to say get to the point where you said, you know what, I'm going to go all in on this sport now. This is what I want to pursue, and I'm really going to go all in on making sure that my body's at the level I need it to be at.
Um, what I have right there. What made me fully pursue on that was just like I seen as my freshman year at UNLV, I was just like not getting play time, and then when I do get in, I'm playing the 5 man, I'm playing the center. I'm not really playing my game how I know I can play, being able to dribble on the wing. I'm not faster than most people and getting past guards and things like that. So the games I didn't play, I just wanted to lock in on myself and change my body for my upcoming sophomore year. My strength coach LV, he used to tell me like, yeah, stay ready so you don't have to get ready because next year is going to be your time and things like that. You get what I'm saying? So after games that I didn't play, I just used to go on the treadmill and we used to go to the workout room. Me and him, he had dedicate some time to me before going home to his family, and we had run a mile and a half, do sprint and things like that to start changing my body. So when I got used to that, I started running a mile and a half a day and only eating 2 times, like literally eating 2 times. At like 12 to 1 o'clock is my time periods I could eat, and then 6 to like 7 is my time periods I can eat and I'm done. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
can't eat no more after that. And I stopped eating red meat. I stopped eating chips. I stopped eating carbs, like a lot of carbs. Really was just like dieting myself and fasting myself while running a mile and a half a day, running a mile and a half a day, and then like 2 months, 3 months before going to George Mason, I lost like 70 pounds.
Now you make that sound a little bit easier than what you just described. I mean, you kind of said this is 2 or 3, 4 months, whatever. I'm shaping now. That's not an easy thing. So you kind of got to top of
It
the
was hard.
discipline. That takes a lot of determination. That takes work ethic and a lot of other characteristics as well. What kind of fueled you? What got you to the point to say, I can get through this? And this is like that's that'd be legitimate commitment. Obviously, that's not
Yeah.
something you just like to do. That shows that you want the sport. What flipped the switch for you? Why did you decide to commit at that point?
What made me commit to myself is just like, bro, I wanted to. I was realizing like, man, I really want to get to the NBA and things like that, and I want to be able to take care of my family and give back to them. And it's like all the stuff they done for me. If I don't get myself in shape and help myself out, it's like a slap in the face to them people that you feel me put in all their time and things and effort to me, and I'm just not giving my full self into them. So that's what made me want to change my body and get in shape. And it was days I didn't want to. I usually literally ran a mile and a half 6 days out the week. It was days I didn't want to, didn't want to wake up and things like that, but I had to because I know it's like only a time period. You only get a certain amount of time, and if you let that window close, it's hard to get back in.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
when you go back to UNLV, let's say, if I were to tell you that you're going to become a guy when you go to George Mason, you become an all-conference type player, one of the top players in the A10, and then obviously become the player you were this past season, now having the opportunity to go play at Auburn, is that something that you saw in your future? Like, did you expect that to happen for yourself? Has it been a little bit shocking to see the way that God's kind of taking your life now, or where would you kind of stand on that component?
Um, I definitely see myself having success. I just didn't see myself playing at this type of level. Like coming from where I come from, Cleveland, Ohio, things that a lot of coaches don't come here. You don't get a lot of national televised or recruitment and things like that. So I didn't see myself getting a level, but I definitely see myself having success. I would probably say see myself at like a rare mid major, like a max school or things like that. But you know what I'm saying? There was one day I got on the circuit. One day I got on the circuit with C2K. I finally played on the circuit, one of my on the UAA circuit, and there was coaches there. My first time ever playing AAU on any type of circuit. I picked up 16 offers in 1 week, and I things like that. Yeah, and it went viral all over Slam and things like that. And that's when my name got viral all over social media.
So we just look at your college career now. You go from averaging 5.4 points per game and only 10.8 minutes per game at UNLV. Last year, you led debatably, in most people's opinions, the best conference in the nation. Obviously, SEC was probably better last year, but over the past decade or so, Big 12 has been the best conference. You just led that conference in scoring last year.
Mhm.
How crazy is it to look back and to see how much change and how much of a jump you've now taken in just a short time span?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And I didn't see that coming. You know what I'm saying? I always knew I could score. I always thought I was the best. My confidence and everything. I always thought I was the best. But it's just like crazy when it comes to fruition. Like all the work you put in, and it shows. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have as much of success I would love to, like in a winning department.
Yeah.
If I won a little more, hey, I would have been probably player of the year or something like that in the conference. But I
Mhm.
didn't win a lot. But it was a great feeling. It's just great to look back at that and be like, yeah. I accomplished something like that in one of the hardest conferences, but I still got miles and ways to go to where I want to be. So I'm not fully satisfied.
So there are guys that obviously take the jump. In the transfer portal era, guys are jumping up and down different levels when you talk about low, mid major,
Yeah.
high major basketball. But sometimes and oftentimes you see a drop off. But for you, it's been the opposite of that. As you've gone up the levels and you played higher and higher competition, you've flourished and you've been successful more and more so, especially on the personal component. When you were at George Mason, though, and you went to now playing at the A10 level, were you a little bit shocked at how much better you were that season, or was that just kind of what you expected when you headed into that year?
Well, coming in out of UNLV.
Yeah, yeah, UNLV to George Mason then, like, did you expect that
Um,
jump?
Yeah, I did. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. I expected to jump a lot. I expected that because I knew what I could do once I get my body in shape. As long as I
Yeah,
got them pounds off me and became more athletic, more faster, and more because it made me more versatile. I can play outside now. See, when I was 300 pounds at UNLV, I couldn't play on the wing as much. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Now I can verse guards and guards and things like that. So I knew I was gonna have a big year. and I was just ready for it. You know what I'm saying? I was coming in, had my mindset on winning Player of the Year. Obviously, that didn't do that. Deron Holmes did, which is a great player. You know what I'm saying, in
Yep.
the NBA now. But I definitely had my mind on set on having a great big year coming out of there since losing that weight.
So I also want to ask you because you have in your Twitter cover picture, you have what motivates you more than anything, a question, a text mark, you say disrespect. And then we look at your overall career. You come out of high school, you're unranked. I know you're, I think, a three-star rival or something along those lines, but the actual ranking number, you weren't ranked there. Then you go to transfer portal your first time around, you weren't really ranked high. George Mason, you were ranked somehow outside the top 100. That one was a little bit shocking to me last season. Now you go to this year, and obviously you are regarded as one of the top prospects and the top recruits in the portal. Would you say that the disrespect of how people from the outside looking in on viewing you as a player, did that motivate you a lot to either get in shape going back to the UNLV days or just becoming the player you are today?
It molded me just to disrespect all around. Yes,
Mhm.
I think it put some fuel under me and made me want to, like, when I see some of these guys that's over me, I'm going at them, or certain
Yeah.
teams that did passed on me or didn't recruit me, I'm going at them. So like yeah, that definitely set a fire under me. Even I feel like I'm still disrespected to this day.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm still respected. I know some people would say, yeah, he led the conference in scoring, but didn't win as much. It's still a team aspect. Obviously, I understand that, but
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the best player in the portal. No, not even a doubt about it. I think I am, or top three. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's a lot of great guys in there, but I feel like it's still sometimes disrespect with my name. But that's what I want to go to Auburn for, because it's like a lot of people just say winning is hindering me. So going to Auburn, which is a winning program, I want to see the excuse after the year when I'm gonna win at Auburn. So you get what I'm saying? That's what I want. That's what made me commit to Auburn. I can do all the scoring and things like that, but it doesn't matter if you don't get wins. So that's why I want to play for Bruce Pearl.
And what's interesting about you is that, there's a lot of guys that are good college basketball players that maybe don't translate to the NBA. Like, that's something we've seen historically. But then there's a few guys, and you're one of these guys that there's probably, I don't know, as of right now, off the top of my head, I'd say there's 3 to maybe 5, 6 guys that you see each year that go in that have legitimate NBA aspirations. And we'll touch up on that a little bit in terms of you and your next future goals there. But you're a guy that has that NBA potential. Some guys don't have the potential to play in the NBA, but you have the body, you have the intangibles. You have those things that's a realistic goal for yourself in the future now. When you look at that, why do you think that is, and what kind of makes you special as a player? Like, what can Auburn fans almost expect from you in terms of what you're bringing to the table as a player?
What I bring to the table as a player and why I think my body of game fits the NBA is just like the versatility part. So coming in, if I didn't go to the NBA next year, you can expect like I can score from three levels all over the court. I can pass the ball. Obviously, I'm going to do that more coming into this year. So I can pass the ball. I can score. I can defend. I'm 6'7". I can rebound at a high level. That's one thing I try to pride myself on, is just going to get rebounds, and going to hunt them. Like not getting room service, going to hunt the rebounds and get in there and get dirty. I play physical, things like that. So I try to lead the team in the right way, talk to the players. So that's what you can see from me. And then how my game translates to the NBA is I can score an isolation ball.
Yeah.
I can pick and pop. I can play a big. I can play 2 through 5 position if I need to be. I run the floor hard. So just things like that helps my body of work to the NBA or even the college game.
So I have to ask you the question. Obviously, Auburn fans are ecstatic to have you on the team. You're going to be one of the vocal points of the entire roster next season. But you are declaring for the NBA draft. I know you're going to go through the process, if I'm not mistaken. Walk us through your mindset right now. So now you're already committed. You're locked into Auburn. What's kind of going through your mind? Are you still going all in on the NBA draft process, hoping to get drafted this season? Are you more so going from an evaluation standpoint and then looking to improve on your body of work going into next season, then going to the NBA? How are you kind of approaching this decision now?
Man, I'm all in on the draft. I'm trying to get drafted, so that's my mindset right there. I'm all in. I'm putting all my coins possible in there to get drafted. But if not to get drafted, I'll come back to Auburn. That's as much as it really is right there.
Mhm.
So I'm just trying to get drafted. I'm all in on. That's the first thing I'm trying to do.
Love it. And now I know another thing about you that you've had in both your Instagram and X bios now has been big guard. And we've kind of talked about that a little bit. And you worked a little bit more at the high school level. Obviously, as you said, you went to UNLV, you're stuck down playing low a lot of time because of your weight. But now that we've come to fruition. You're in the player that you are today. That is the big guard opportunity that you now have. You are that guy that can actually live out the big guard aspect. And that's a very unique position to play. That's why I kind of was alluding to a little bit ago that you have that NBA type of body of work right there. And you talk about guys I know we've seen recently in college basketball, guys like Scotty Barnes. He's one that comes to mind. Obviously, going back Ben Simmons, the different player stuff, play styles than you and whatnot. But just that guy that's able to be 6'7" plus, can bring the ball up the court, can run the guard. That's unique. That's not something that a lot of your average everyday college basketball players are capable of doing. Can you walk us through that? How have you developed yourself as a player to be at your height, your ability, and still be able to facilitate and be a guard at the same time?
So as a kid, I played guard position. So
Mm.
my brother, when he told me come outside and play basketball, the first thing we ever started doing was dribbling. I didn't
All
shoot a
right.
basketball. Like I didn't shoot a basketball. He wanted me to just stay dribbling. He was showing me like clips of Allen Iverson,
Mm.
and Kyrie Irving, things like that. I was watching whole mixtapes and things like that. So dribbling. So as a kid, I was a guard, and as I got taller, bigger, and gained weight, my father still told me keep my guard skills because I always want to have an all around game. You don't want to be a one dimensional guy, so he always told me keep my all around game. So I worked on posting up. Isolation, dribbling, creating, passing, off ball screens and things like that. I try to work on a little bit of everything when I get in the gym, so so I can just be all around and I can be needed at anything and do anything for a team.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's get into this recruiting process and then talk about Auburn because you were in and out of there pretty quickly. I know there was a lot of reasons that a lot of guys were doing the same route this year. You want to make the decision. Nobody wants to be going through that for too long of a time span. But you got in there immediately. I was like, okay, we got one of the top guys, if not the best players, going to enter in the portal now. And then within about, I forget how many exactly days, but it wasn't a lot of days. You're committed now. You're going to Auburn. Can you take us through this process? Because I know that phone had to be blowing up. I know you're getting contacts from all over the country. I don't know exactly who's handling them all for you, if it was just yourself, but you got to take us through this. Was it chaotic? Was it stressful? Did you enjoy it? What was the recruiting
Um,
process like?
I I feel like it was a good stress. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot
Yeah,
of people going through worse things than me, so it was a great stress
sure.
for me. So I actually loved it. You know what I'm saying? Coming out of high school, I wasn't the top recruit. I wasn't a 5 star, so I didn't get the as much attention and enjoyed it like that. So I actually enjoyed it a little bit this time, talking to different coaches and things like that. Even like you know what I'm saying, the Kyler Perry's and Bill Selfs and them. But so yeah, the soon as I got in the portal, I got like 10 calls in the first 5 minutes. But actually the first call was Auburn. The first
Okay.
call was coaching my yeah, it was Auburn. And the crazy thing about it, the first call was right before they played Michigan, like an hour before they played Michigan.
Wow.
So they was about to play, and he seen me hit the portal. And he's like, "Hey, what's it called? We see you hit the portal, and this, that. We like your game, this, that." So they was the first call, but I got a lot of calls. It was a great feeling, and I was talking to a lot of different coaches. But I told myself I didn't want to be in the portal that long. I want to handle everything. So once I get to start pre-draft and working out and things, I don't have to worry about where I'm coming back to, like
Mhm.
college. If I come back to college, I already know where I'm coming back to. I want to have everything handled. So I really came down to a top four, probably top five, but really mostly a top four. It was Kansas, Arkansas, obviously Auburn, LSU, and then I had Kentucky in there. I had a Zoom call with them. I had Kentucky in there, but I ended up taking them out, so it came down to them four. And then
Okay.
I just committed to Auburn. It was just the best fit for me.
All right, so you did say that one part I got to touch up a little bit more because I think that some people know this is going on with the coaches and all that, but we got the tournament going on. They're trying to coach for the biggest moments of their lives, and they're doing the
Yeah,
transfer portal. I know there's obviously a lot of debate. Should the portal not start until after, like today, essentially, make it a little bit split up the seasons or whatnot. But for now, at least, the coaches are put in a tough position. And you just talked about that. They're an hour or so away from playing one of the biggest games of the season for themselves, and they're calling you already. How much did that mean to you?
that meant a lot. I actually did. As soon as I got off the phone, I called my parents, and I was like, "Man, that shows a lot, and it means a lot." Because as soon as they got on the phone, they said, let's keep talking. Let's set up a Zoom Monday after the
Okay.
game. Let's set up a Zoom Monday and get this thing on the road. We really love you, and we like your game." So that just showed me a lot because they like you said, they're preparing for the biggest game of their career. Like you know what I'm saying, they're and they still giving me time and effort and trying to recruit me. So that showed me that they care. You know what I'm saying? Things like that.
So who was it exactly that called you? I couldn't get that part in the first one. Was it Coach Pearl, or was it assistant coaches, or who called you first?
Coach Mike,
Okay.
Coach Mike Burgo. Yeah, so he's the offensive coordinator,
Mhm.
assistant coach. So he
Absolutely.
called me, and then after the game, they called me, him and Coach Pearl on the phone together, and
Okay.
they both called. And then
Oh, so
we
they called
started
you after
talking.
the game too then?
Yeah, yeah, and then
Okay.
we start setting up the call for Monday. So when they used to call me at the game, I was like, "Yeah, this is real." You know what I'm saying? I was like, they're showing a lot of effort while they're going through one of the craziest times of their life, and
Mm.
they're still giving me effort and making time for me. So that showed me a lot, and it showed me a lot of love that I could see myself here. And then we set up a Zoom, and it was just from there.
All right, so you mentioned those top four, obviously three of those SEC, one of them being Kansas and the Big 12. When you were going through that process, that had to be kind of difficult. You know, you're talking about all these different schools. I'm sure they all have different packages they're offering you. They're doing different things and whatnot that you like about them. What was it about Auburn then? Like, why did they separate themselves from the other three when it came down to it?
For me, what it was about Auburn, all the programs I'm saying and the coaches I'm saying, they win and things like that. But for me, it was just the opportunity to come in next year. You know, Auburn losing a lot of guys, just like a lot of, that's not an excuse because a lot of teams are. You see
True.
Kansas losing a lot of guys too. It's a
Yeah.
lot of schools that's losing a lot of guys. But for me, Coach Pearl, and when I got on the Zoom with the whole staff was on there. The
Mm,
whole staff during them going to the Final Four, so that meant a lot to me and things like that. So they stood out to me, obviously, right there. And they showed me they excel what guys that's in a big guard role that's over like 6'7", and guys like that, they help them and develop them and make them better even defensively, offensively, and gets them type guys to the NBA. So that stood out to me, and I like that part. And for my last year, what stood out is they're in the Final Four, so it obviously shows that they win. So for my last year, I wanted to put everything to the side and just learn and focus on how to win, and that's what Coach Pearl. And I feel like he's going to help me with that. And I really want to win a championship. You can see out of their last 8 years in the
mhm,
SEC, they're the most winningest program in the SEC. They won 5 out of the 8 titles in 8 years. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
So that's what made me want to go there.
So you seem to put a little bit of emphasis on the aspect that they had all the coaches on the Zoom call with you. Was that the same story for the other program? Like, did Kansas have all the coaches, or was that just Bill Self and Curtis, or someone along those lines, or was Auburn the only program that had the whole coaching staff there?
I mean, the not every coach was on there with Kansas. Not every coach was on there with Arkansas. Not every coach was
Mhm,
on there with LSU or Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Auburn, every coach was on there. You know what
mhm.
I'm saying? So that stood out to me. Even the video coordinator guys was on there. Everybody was
Okay.
on there, and that felt good. It felt like a family already, and I pride myself on family oriented things in my family. So I feel
Mm.
like they brought me into the family while they're going through the Final Four. They had time for me.
You know, that's not too shocking to see because when you look at the program from the outside looking in, it seems like a tight knit group from the top to
Yeah.
bottom. They seem to always be with each other, and that's actually what I wanted to ask you about because this seems like from the top down, like I said, the coaching staff they seem to be very very close knit. They seem to be tight with each other. They seem to like each other a lot, and then that carries down into the locker room, the players, and everybody in that group. And so obviously you haven't spent a whole season there, whatnot, but just the feel you have so far. What's the vibe like? Like, what's the energy that Coach Pearl and the culture that Coach Pearl has now established that you like about there?
It just like you said, the culture is toughness, winning. They're real big on faith.
Yep.
Blessing, giving glory to God. That was another thing that stood out to me and my mother and things like that. So yeah, I was happy about them type things. They spend time with each other. He helps them off the court, on the court, and they just build like a tough group and they win. So that was the things that sold to me right there.
I was getting to Coach Pro a little bit more. Like you said, he's established a culture that is faith based. I know it's important to you as well, and so I love that aspect about Coach Pro and how he's built that there. Coach Pro, I know as well as there, but there's the whole staff as well. So when you talk about that component and being able to relate to an extent and kind of share something with your coach on a bond outside of basketball, obviously you guys know you guys like basketball, whatnot, but on a deeper level, what does that mean to you?
That means a lot because my family grew up in serving, and things like that, going to serving God. So that showed a lot to my family and that coach. they have like Bible studies, and they do a lot together, and they where regardless of win, lose or draw, they're gonna give glory to God, and that shows a lot. And I like that, so I want to be a part of something like that. And he told me like whatever I'm going on in my life, I can come to him and sit down, which other guys vouch for. I don't just go off of what a coach say when I first meet them. I talk to the other guys around them that's been coached by them, and they vouch for Coach Pearl. He's a great guy, and he's someone that's going to be there for you outside of basketball. And he'll risk it all for you and do anything for you and try to help you. So that stood out to me.
I was say you talked to some of the guys. You're talking about former players, guys that are on this last year's roster. Who's some guys you talked to that kind of helped in this recruiting process?
Baba, I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, Akinbola.
Yeah, Baba.
Yeah.
He ended up transferring to George Washington, but
Yep.
he was there. So I talked to him because I'm from Cleveland, so I went to the Cavs game, and I
Okay.
talked to him. I had a word with Isaac Okoro too. So them type guys. It was a quick word after the Cavs game backstage. In the back, I was talking to them guys, so they told me about him.
Okay, that's what's up. So we got to
Yeah,
look at this roster though, because as you said, this was an incredible team, a team that was one of the very best programs in the country, a Final Four roster.
yeah.
The unfortunate part about the Auburn fans is that a lot of those guys are obviously moving on now, headed by Broom. Miles Kelly's gonna be moving on, etc. And so it's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna be. So we have some guys obviously returning, but for the most part, it's gonna be a whole new look roster. And you're obviously hypothetically could be a part of that team as well if you don't go to the NBA. So when you talk about this team and knowing that you guys do have some guys, Pettiford obviously being in the mix right there is gonna be a big guy. You guys could get CBM back, which would be huge. Walk us through this roster and just overall looking as if you're on the roster and you're going to go there play the next season. How excited are you for the team so far?
I'm very excited. I already talked to CBM and Tahad, text them guys, and I would love to play with them if we all came back. That would be amazing. You get what I'm saying? Tahad is one of the best guards in the country, obviously. CBM, great shot maker, one of the best three man. His energy is off the charts. I watched a lot of Auburn games this year,
Okay.
so his energy is off the charts. He can defend very well. Myself. Um, we just building, just getting a lot of core guys, and then we're gonna try to find some big man. You know what I'm saying? Armor is known for having dominant, great big men,
Hmm.
and developing them and putting them in great positions. So, and then we got some freshmen coming up. They're very good. I heard of them and I seen their game, and then JUCO players. So it's going to be a good roster. They're still building. I'm letting the coaches. I should have full trust and faith in them. They're going to get this together. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing to them.
Hmm.
So they're going to coach us the right way if we all come back and have a great team. And I feel like we're going to be good.
All right. So we do know that Chad Baker has the opportunity to return because of the whole JUCO thing that came out and whatnot. So if he's a part of this roster, are you guys talking right now? Is that something that you're hoping to get him to come back? I know I saw your tweet a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
Is that
I hope
someone?
to get them back.
Are you guys talking right now, trying to get him to come back?
Yeah, definitely, man. I pray we get him back in that. So I hope that happens. You get what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let him. It's his decision. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I definitely want him to come back. I want to play with someone like him for sure.
And
And he knows the program, so he
yeah.
can teach me the ways. You know what I'm saying? And let me learn the ways. I can learn from him into Hod. So yeah, definitely.
And then we look at the rest of the roster. I know as of now, assuming that Chad Baker does come back, your term coming back, there's at least going to be three more spots available to sign on this team. Are there guys
Yeah.
that you're trying to recruit? Are there guys that you've heard about you want to go after and you really want to go play with next season?
Man, I mean, it's bunch of good guys in the portal. It's a bunch of guys I would love to play with, but I'm just letting the coaches handle that. You know what I'm saying? If there's
Hmm.
somebody they see and they want me to talk to, or I'll try to recruit and talk to some guys, but I'm letting them handle that and just have full faith in them. So, but I do like a lot of guys in the portal. There's some good guys, but that's out of my control. I'm gonna control what I control, and I'll help if I need to.
So have you helped with anybody yet, or is that something that's just you're waiting to see if it gets to you?
I tried helping with some guys. It didn't go so far, but yeah, we'll
Fair enough.
see. Right now, well, I tried helping with some guys. I'll keep talking to some guys for sure.
That's what's up. So now you look at this team. Though. I got to ask a couple questions before I let you go. And one of that is this culture and this overall fan base is insane in a good
I
way.
love it.
Yeah, they are crazy. I mean, they're one of my favorite fan bases in the country. I mean, they're gonna let you have it if you're not in support of you guys, and they're gonna stick with you guys through and thick and through. So I just got to ask you. You talk with these guys. You've already seen some of the fan base, and then when you're out to San Antonio, what is the fan base like, and how excited are you to possibly go out there and play in front of them?
Oh man, I'm very excited. I watched a lot of the games, and I heard it's the craziest fan base in the country,
Yep.
like called the Jungle. They call it
Yep.
the Jungle, coming down there to the Jungle. So I would love to play in that. When I was at the tailgates, it was just as soon as I walked in, everybody, it's like they all noticed me, and they showed me and showered me with love, even my family that was with me. So it felt great. They was telling me they can't wait for me to get down there and things like that. So I'm just happy to play for these fans, play for the community and everything. Get to know them because I don't fully know everyone yet down there and how their culture is. So I can't wait to be built into that.
So when you talk about this upcoming season, possibly if you're going to play there, I feel like I know what your answer might be, but do you have a game that would be circled on your calendar? I know the whole non-conference schedule hasn't come out yet, so let's look at SEC play. Is there a game that you're most excited for?
SEC play?
Yeah,
Mm, SEC play. I mean, I'm excited to verse everyone for real. I'm not gonna lie. Just like I was coming into the Big 12, man. It's
fair
just
enough.
a blessing from where I come from. You get what I'm saying? I didn't think I'll be here playing these type teams. You used to want to go to these type teams and get recruited by these guys. But if I had to circle on someone on my list, it'd probably be like Arkansas. I'll
Okay.
play Arkansas.
That's what's up. So I got
Yeah.
one final question I was like wrapping up with, man, and that's looking at your career. I know you're gonna have 1 year at least, possibly if you're gonna go there next season. But if you end up going to Auburn, you play a whole season out there and you leave, what are the three biggest things that you want to be remembered for? Like, what do you want your legacy to be for your Auburn career?
I came there. I put everything to the side and tried to win. That's one thing I want to be known for. I tried to adapt the culture there and tried to win as much as possible. That's really all I want to be known for, man. Just trying to win for the community, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna score. I'm gonna have good games, bad games. We're gonna do some amazing things. We're gonna win a lot. But I just want to be known for a winner at Auburn. So that's what I want to be known for.
Absolutely, man. Well, Keyshawn, I appreciate taking time to come on in, man. I can't wait to see what God's got next for you, whether that be the NBA draft, going to Auburn. I'm excited to see what he's got in store for you, man. Of
I appreciate you. Thank you.
course, man. You always welcome on, man. God bless.
War Eagle.